Hey, Peter, good to see you. April is Financial Literacy Month, so happy Financial Literacy Month to you. And this is so important, the importance of a financial education. In fact, FINRA often gives people a test to measure their knowledge of interest, compounding, inflation, and bonds. And surprisingly, only 34% of people are passing. So I just want to break it down. Peter, why do you think a financial education is so important?
Well, because only 34% of people are passing. I mean, I think
Yeah,
it's
good point.
really important that we get that financial education, understanding, that financial literacy. That FINRA test has a lot of different components that go into it that they ask
Mhm.
questions about, but some of them are just as simple as compounding interest. Do you understand that it's important that you're earning money on the money that your money has earned for you? That's when you put money to work. And not only 34% financially literate according to that FINRA test, but I also saw some other studies from Bloomberg that said under 30% of millennials felt financially prepared for an emergency or the unexpected. So we really need to do a better job in getting educated and setting that foundation in place for some good financial habits into and throughout life.
Yeah, good point. I want to talk to you a little bit more about compounding because I think this is one of those things that I wish I'd known earlier. And Peter, you said this specifically is so important to you that you actually make it your mission to go out in the community and educate young people about it.
Yeah, I've been to a couple of the local area high schools here, invited in for career day or for some one-off professional information and education days. And I talk to the high schoolers about the importance of saving early and often and as much as possible, but also the difference between saving and investing.
Mhm.
And I show them a chart similar to what you're putting on the screen now, where we see the implications, the effects of compounding interest. Albert Einstein said it was the most powerful force on the planet. The power of
Yeah.
compounding has been called the eighth wonder of the world. And the reason why is that your money works for you. It continues to grow. And I show the high schoolers a chart of somebody who begins saving at 20 and saves only till 30 versus somebody who starts at 30 and saves all the way till 65. And the difference is pretty remarkable. And then I show them if they didn't stop at all, but start at 20 and save all the way through to 65, what that looks like. But here's the thing. If your money is not compounding for you, it doesn't matter where in that chart you take time off. Like the end of that chart, it begins to show the real power of compound interest. The growth of the money begins to
Right.
hockey stick and grow
Mhm.
exponentially. And if you miss any time, it's not that time at the beginning or the middle that you miss. It is the end where that money really begins to pick up and grow so quickly because of that compounding interest.
Right. Well said. And one of the reasons I think that it's kind of so complicated now is that we live in this world, the entire financial landscape has changed, but chief among them, retirement planning, right? It used to be that we had a pension, you would contribute, somebody else would manage it, and then you would retire, and it was great. But now there are so many options to choose from, tax deferred. Do I pay my taxes now or later? And this is something that you specialize in, helping people navigate all these options and figuring out what's best for them.
Yeah, well, having many, many options doesn't necessarily simplify things. More
Right.
often than not, it actually complicates
Right.
things. And in our world of ease of use and digital done for you everything, financial and retirement planning has, I agree with you, Aaron, become more complicated. It
Right.
used to be that we had the pensions, kind of set it and forget it. You start your career, you work your entire career for one company, and then you retire and that company continues to pay you. Whereas today, that burden has really been placed more on each one of our own individual shoulders. And there is a lot that goes into what that pension used to provide that we as individuals now need to make sure that we have accounted for. Income planning is a buzzword of the last maybe 15 years that really wasn't heard much before that, because income in retirement was sort of taken care of for you.
Right.
Longevity was not necessarily something that was considered as much of a risk when pensions provided for a payment that was guaranteed throughout the duration of your lifetime. But
Right.
now that we retire with a finite amount of money, no pension, we've got to make that money last for an unknown amount of time. Longevity risk, as it's come to be known is something that we really have to specifically take the steps to address financially so that we can once again look at longevity as a blessing and something that we hope for rather than something that's going to risk our financial well-being and security.
Right. Yeah. Especially now that retirement year is 25, 30 years. You want it to last as long as possible.
Or more.
Peter,
Yeah.
if somebody would like your help, then, kind of crunching the numbers regarding retirement or anything that isn't making sense to them right now, what's the best way to reach you?
Well, you can reach out online, RichonPlanning.com. It looks like richonplanning.com. You can email me, peter@RichonPlanning.com, or you're welcome to give the office a call, 919-300-5886, 919-300-5886. I am actually pushing to have some financial literacy classes taught in the local area high school. So if anybody here in the Fuquay, Varina, Willow Spring area would like to see that as something being taught to their high school students, I encourage you to reach out and let your career guidance counselor or students let their teachers know that this is something that they would be interested in.
I vote yes on that.
I absolutely
So
vote yes on that.
important. That's great. I'm glad you're doing it. Peter, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.